post today. I thought about doing an episode probably later in the week when I got my bees and stuff, and my dog Sophie just sat underneath the tripod. Hopefully she doesn't knock it over. But I decided to do an episode today because I thought I have a couple things that are a little interesting that not many people I guess would really know for as like common knowledge or anything like that. But you know, if you're a gardener, you might know this. What I have here are some kiwis. I have two different varieties. One is a cold hardy variety, and one is a tropical variety. The tropical one, in fact, I'll bring you over here closer to look at them here. The hardy variety are just little baby seedlings right now. They're just coming on, and the tropical one I grew last year, and it is flourishing, well, for the most part anyway. I'll show you up here in a second what it's like, but I just want to talk to you about how kiwis really, they are very, very, very hardy when it comes to cold temperatures. You know, here in zone 8, 8B, 8A, whichever one we are, it varies very little from between those two, but in zone 8, a kiwi of a tropical variety or a hardy variety will flourish without a problem. They will die back in the winter, of course. The cold hardies don't die back as much, but the tropicals will die back completely, and then it may kill off some old or some new growth that happened last year or something. But for the most part, see this one here, I'll show you up here really close in a second, but this one here has come back. I threw it out in the cold last winter, and I thought that it wasn't going to survive. I thought that since it's a tropical plant, it wasn't gonna come back. It wasn't gonna do anything. I did throw a little mulch on top of it and a little bit of protection around it, and said, you know, if it survives, it survives. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So I gave it a little bit of protection, but not too much. I didn't cover the pot too much. I didn't put too much mulch on it. It was just a thin layer, and it decided to come back this year. So that just proves my suspicions that kiwis as a plant are very, very hardy, and they can die back and then come back in the spring in more temperate climates. Now, we are in a temperate climate, definitely temperate as being it doesn't usually normally get above 100 degrees during the summer, and it usually doesn't get below, you know, on our worst year, maybe 5 degrees. Sometimes it can get into the negative, I think we've had one time where it's gotten to -2 degrees, which is at the very most we've ever dipped into negative temperatures. So, but for a normal year, it usually will get down to maybe 20 degrees Fahrenheit, and so that's a basic. And I don't know what that is Celsius. I'll try to put it in the video if I can for any of you overseas, England and places like that. But you know, it's a very hardy plant. So if you have those type of temperatures, then you'll be able to grow a kiwi. The cold hardy varieties, of course, you can grow in like zone 5 or zone 6, and they've developed varieties now that are cold hardy that look just exactly like the tropical kiwi fruit. They're not the small little mini ones that are almost like a bite size that kind of annoy me, because when I dig into a kiwi, I want to have like a nice spoonful for at least, you know, for 2 sides of a fruit. So I don't really like the small little tiny ones, but I like the bigger ones that are, you know, they're just like a regular tropical kiwi. So you can grow these at home from store-bought fruit. This is what I did here. I grew these from store-bought fruit, and I'll just kind of tell you the process I went to grow these and get them started. But it takes a little while. It'll take you probably a month to get little seedlings like this. So let me bring you in close here, and we'll show you what these look like, okay? All right, come in here. All right, so here we are, and here are the little baby seedlings. You can see all these poking up here. This is what they look like when they're little babies. Let me get closer in there, maybe. See how they have like their true leaves just starting out? They're very tiny, very tiny. And you have to keep these just moist, but not too wet. And you gotta let them dry out a little bit because they are very susceptible to damping off, especially at this age. And I have some more little baby ones coming up that are just sprouting. Of course, I've lost a few because a few just are really too weak. Here's one that died off from damping off probably because they're too weak and the seed doesn't have resistance to any sort of fungal diseases, and they just die off even if it's not too wet. See, I just have it barely moist in there, and that's how I try to keep it, let it dry off. Here is the tropical kiwi though. If you look at it, you can see, let me get the sun in the way, you can see here that it is sprouting from here. It did have a little stem here before, let me get in frame, before the winter hit, and I trimmed it off. It was maybe that tall, you know, up here. So, but then it grew all this last year. It's just starting to leaf out. The sun's not cooperating. Let me try to get you guys in. Hopefully you can see that. I don't know if you can, if I move the leaf. That is a little leaf that's coming out, and then we have the top here that is quite a lot bigger. It's been munched on by a couple bugs, but this came out first off. It was the first one going, and it came out right there at the very top, and I snipped off the end that died back. So it requires a little pruning. And this is just a pot. I have a little mulch on here, and they covered up all of up until about there, the side about there, and that kept it nice and insulated for the winter. So basically, these you just need to soak the seeds from a kiwi fruit that you get from the store. This is a cold hardy variety. It said it on the package, so. It's a cold hardy kiwis, so I am going to try to grow those, see how those do through the winter and this spring. They should be able to grow from a size this big to this size in one growing season. So they grow quite quickly, very fast growers, and all you need to do is soak the seeds after you get out of kiwi fruit. Put them in the water for I put mine in there for about 4 days. So I just soaked it for about 4 days and made sure they were really well soaked, and kept replacing the water and cleaning it out and stuff. And then I put them in here, and it took about 2 weeks after I put them in here for them to start sprouting. So it's a little bit of a long process, but in the end you'll get some really nice kiwis. Now kiwis don't fruit. They don't fruit until about the 3rd or 4th year of when they're growing. So it's going to be quite a while before you see fruit, and they have male and female plants. So I need to find what type of male or female this is. So I have to wait until it flowers. That's the only time. So we have to wait until it sets fruit to know what sex it is. So if this is a male, then I'm going to hope that at least one of these, I'm going to try to keep them all alive and this summer, and let them die back in the winter and then come back in the spring. And hopefully one of these is a female or a male, depending on which one this is, so that you can have some cross-pollination. So if this one is a female, then I will be having some tropical kiwi fruit, and that will be good. But if one of these I have one female and a male of these, then I'll have 2 females, and a male for pollination on one of these or both of these kiwi plants. And I think I'll probably plant them someplace. You need to plant them someplace south-facing, lots of sun, on a nice trellis where you can easily pick them. And we're planning on maybe building a deck this season. We're kind of going over where the greenhouse is, and we're going to have to get rid of the greenhouse, but I think the deck will be a better place. I'm going to be growing more cold hardy crops and stuff. So, but I'm going to do maybe a trellis on the deck where It goes all the way up over top of the deck, and there'll be kiwi fruits hanging down, and this will give the deck on that area that we do that latticing structure some shade. Kiwi fruits will shade it during the summer, and it'll be nice and cool. So that's how you kind of want to deal with kiwis, guys. They're very easy to grow, very simple. You know, they're prolific when it comes to how they grow, and you can grow them in zone 8. You can grow them in zone 7. You might be able to grow the tropical variety in zone 6, maybe if you mulch heavy for the winter, but they might come up from near the ground area, but it may be a little hard to grow them there. You can grow the cold hardy variety though in zone 6, and I believe up until zone 5. So that's pretty much it, guys. But for the end of this video, I wanted to do a quick tour of the garden to show you guys what's growing right now. I haven't done a tour yet this year, so I wanted to just kind of do a little bee camera roll with some music, and just bring you around the garden and kind of show you what's up, show you what's growing, and show you how this year's been panning out. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you again next time. Okay, bye guys.